that, we're also joined by Ms. Veena Sikri, a former diplomat. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. What do you make of these recent developments? Donald Trump in that interview saying a very special relationship with India, how Prime Minister Modi would always be friends. The Prime Minister's response to that?
Well, I must say that, yes, the tweet by President Trump yesterday was very disappointing. Yes. But I think the main aspect of that tweet we have to see is that President Trump possibly has been misunderstanding India's philosophy and foreign policy based on strategic autonomy. The thing is that when we have a talk or a discussion with President Xi Jinping or with President Putin or we are at the SCO summit, it does not mean that we are in any way trying to affect or adversely impact our relationship with USA. With USA, we have always had a very traditional, excellent global strategic partnership, and we are committed to that. As you do know, even despite all the tweets from President Trump and some of his colleagues, the meetings have been going on. The IMEC meeting has been going on. The defense cooperation has been going on. Military exercises, joint military exercises have been held in Alaska, and so on. So I think that today morning's tweet from President Trump shows a much greater appreciation of India's strategic autonomy policy. And he says, no, I don't think we have lost Prime Minister Modi. And he said, I have a great friendship and admiration for Prime Minister Modi. So that is fine. It's a very good recognition, a kind of, stepping back from what he had said yesterday. And I think our Prime Minister has immediately accepted, and our Prime Minister also appreciates his friendship with President Trump. And he has tweeted of that, and he said that he wants to continue with that friendship. So I think this is a very good reconciliation or coming back to the traditional path of Indo-US strategic global partnership and very comprehensive strategic global partnership. And I think that from now on, I hope that the understanding will come back much more on track. And each side will understand.
Vishnu here, that's my question to you, ma'am. Do you believe what Trump says is something that will hold true by this evening or tomorrow morning? Or are we going to bring you back and then say that latest setback in Indo-US guys?
Yeah, that's right. I do agree with President Trump that unpredictability seems to be the only predictability that you can talk about. I agree on that. But still, I do think that after yesterday's tweet by President Trump, there has been some kind of a rethinking. Using the words he used, we have lost India, etc. I think that everybody else in the USA would have explained to him, whether Secretary of State Marco Rubio and many others. And of course, there's been the continuous comments in the American media by people, the National Security Advisor of the Biden administration and many others, many other individuals, many other commentators, and so on. So I do think that President Trump has been able to appreciate this. And basically, he's understood the concept of India's strategic autonomy. That's what I hope, that it has been explained to him, that it doesn't mean that if President Xi Jinping and President Putin and Prime Minister Modi are seen in the same frame at the SCO summit, it doesn't mean a change in India's foreign policy. We still value our relationship with the USA, and Prime Minister Modi has said that. And we still want to continue with that positive appreciation, and we want to carry it forward. And we do know there are a whole lot of channels on which the relationship is continuing. Even 2 days ago, I think the first civilian nuclear technology deal was announced and so on. So I think there are a lot of aspects and groups and industries in America who remain fully engaged with India. And that's what they want it to be. They don't want to stop that.
So, Sikri, just give me half a second. Ambassador Sikri, I was just listening to what the minister told me day before yesterday, and to use these were his words in describing the relationship with America. Strong and powerful. It's a strong and powerful relationship. It's a sustaining relationship. It's a long-term relationship, and it is a very consequential relationship. Do you believe that New Delhi, I beg your pardon, Washington, may have picked up on some of the cues from the man at the center of trade negotiations between Delhi and Washington, and at some level maybe conveyed that to Trump, who has now sort of come around with this peaceful gesture, overture?
Yes, Vishnu, I think you're right on that, because we do know that the trade deal being negotiated between India and the USA, the BTA, this is at many times been so close to completion that the USTR has even taken it to President Trump for his approval. But we do know that on one or two occasions, specifically, President Trump turned it down and said, no, he wants more. Now, let us hope that now the negotiations are continuing. Maybe there have been some further adjustments at the margin. Maybe President Trump will be ready to finalize and approve the BTA that has been under negotiation between India and the USA. I do hope so. I do hope that happens, and this will be setting a great thing right. The second thing that you had asked about is the purchase of Russian oil. I do agree with you that we are fully within our rights to do that. And what is definitely very significant that China, Turkey, Europe, all of them are doing far more purchases from Russia on this. And America themselves have a bilateral trade with Russia, which I believe is running into $5 or $6 billion a year. So, vanadium, palladium, fertilizers, and so on. So I do hope that on these issues, discussions can continue. I think discussions should be held directly between delegations. Everything should be ironed out and not done maybe public media negotiation. Media negotiations through the media always cause further misunderstandings. So I think one has to agree that President Trump, I think in his tweet today, has been very specific on recalling our bilateral partnership, and we also have recalled it, and that's a very good thing. Let's take it from here one by one issue at a time, and hope that this strengthening of the relationship continues. I think it's a very good moment.